Welcome back to some new malicious compliance stories, where people complied to the letter, but not the spirit of our request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Travel Money. This started about 4 years ago or so. I was a regional manager for a manufacturer. My territory was 26 states. I got a car allowance, $700 per month. That was for my car usage for work. For non-drive travel, I could do whatever I wanted, within reason, but it couldn't exceed a certain percentage of sales. Where I live, there are some parts of my territory that I had to drive to, and there were no flights available without significant wasted time connecting. For any drive over 4 hours, I'd rent a car at the local rental office versus flying. However, the bean counters caught me doing this and reminded me about my car allowance and that I shouldn't be renting cars from home. From then on, I would fly to these places. This went on for 4 years, till I recently switched companies. Any travel outside of New England turned into a multiple night trip with flights, hotel, meals, etc. It probably cost the company $10,000 a year in useless extra trip costs. The next story is called Trash Talk. I spent my summer working at the garbage disposal unit in my city, where I take calls about garbage pickups, new memberships, complaints, etc. A pretty chill and surprisingly fun job. Part of why I thought it was fun was that the garbage disposal in my city is not for profit, meaning that I didn't have to upsell the customers calling. If they could meet their needs by using a smaller bin and pay less, I could help them change to that. I was also free to call customers back if I found a better solution for them after the call had ended. I did this a few times, and the customers were always happy that I called back and offered them a better deal. Win for them, win for me, since I made somebody stay. One day I got the following call. Welcome to the garbage disposal unit. How can I help? The customer was clearly irate. Hi, you didn't empty my bin yesterday. Now this is nothing too unusual. It was summer, and the substitute drivers sometimes missed a bin or two. Usually I would just send them back, no harm done. So I asked the guy for the address and checked the pickup history. Oh, I see that we emptied your bin last week, so you weren't on the schedule to have it emptied yesterday. We'll come again next week. In my city, the options for garbage collection are either every second week or every fourth week. It was not unusual for people to mix up the weeks and call me, so I would just tell them. They would laugh and say, silly me, and that was that. Not this guy. Yeah, I know you picked it up last week, but you didn't pick it up this week. Well, no, we only collect every second week, so we collected last week and we'll come by again next week. No, you collect every week, but you didn't collect it this week. No sir, we don't have collection every week. We have never collected garbage every week. I pay you to collect my garbage every week. What am I supposed to do with my garbage if you don't come collect it every week? I can't last 2 weeks. Mind you, he obviously had up until this moment, because, once again, we have never collected garbage every week. Well, you could try recycling, or sort out your food waste, or you could switch out for a bigger bin. I already recycle everything I can recycle. I have my own compost, so I don't even throw my food in the bin. I just have a lot of garbage. And I need you to come pick it up, because I pay you to do that every week. Well, the customer interrupts me. You know what? I don't want to talk about this anymore. And without me saying another word, he hangs up. As I was processing his call, something he said clicked in my head. In the city where I live, you pay an extra amount for throwing food in the regular trash, which the customer was paying for. This guy had said that he had his own compost, which merited him a lower garbage fee of about 70 euros per year. Remember, I was free to call him back and tell him the happy news. Had he been any other customer, I would have. But he didn't want to talk about trash with me, so who am I to disobey him? 70 euros might not be a lot, but I get immense satisfaction thinking about this guy literally putting it in the trash, which is still getting picked up every second week, as it always has. The third story is called Out of Gas. About 2 months ago, a rule was implemented that only 2 days out of the week could we fill the company vehicle with gas. Wednesday and Saturday. I learned quickly that this would mean I needed to fill up my vehicle every gas fill-up day without fail. Last Saturday, I didn't drive said vehicle. Tuesday, I noticed I didn't have enough gas to finish the day. Oh well, the rule is the rule. I ran out of gas and the company had to pay me to sit there and wait. Lost productivity. The supervisor sent out a person with a gas credit card and nothing else. The vehicle they were in only had one seat and one seat belt. Can't safely get in with them to do anything. So I started walking to the nearest gas station. Then the supervisor realized the error of his ways and sent that same employee out again. This time with a vehicle with 2 seats. They brought me back to the office where I got a different vehicle to finish the day. The next story is called Working Too Much. I'm a tax preparer and we all know about tax season. Usually we have to work 55 to 60 hours a week, which is pretty standard. But this year the company decided to reduce it to 50 in an attempt to promote better work-life balance. Realistically speaking, there was no way this was going to work out. Outside of my local office, the other offices in the company notoriously struggled to get their tax returns done on time with 55 to 60 a week. They also had increased our yearly charge hour goals, which I thought was pretty counterintuitive. Either way, I decided to say screw it. Just do the 50, cause I'll take the extra time. Sure. That adventure died quickly, because my manager just started burying me in projects. My manager is really bad at his job, constantly contradicts himself, throws others under the bus, and hounds you about being efficient and getting his projects done, but then waits forever to get them reviewed. He also has no problem bossing people around and being condescending, but the moment someone with an ounce of authority pushes down on him, he instantly folds and bends to their will like a dog, even if they have no idea what they are talking about. As I'm working on all of these projects he buried me in, I soon realized that 50 is not gonna allow me to get all this done. It's definitely not that I was taking too long to do them. I am confident that my track record at that company shows that I got stuff done and pushed out in a timely manner. But between the budget hours that these projects had as a whole, the 50 hours and the line of other projects I had from other people, there was no way I was gonna make it. So I decided, screw it, I just do 55 to 60. Because I'm a team player and I did like working at that place, I figured I'd get ahead of the company's lovely charge hour goal, and brownie points couldn't hurt. Then my manager comes into play again. He asked me if I can hop on a call, and that's where it begins. He asked me about my time card, because even though my requirement is 50, I still booked the 55 to 60, cause I ain't working for free. I found out that in a meeting, a partner from another office looked at my time card and started questioning it. He then proceeded to start saying all kinds of things about me and accusing me of stuff. I apparently now had a nickname amongst him and that group as the 60-hour man. My manager rips me a new one because I'm working too much and that I don't have to do that. And yes, I didn't have to do that, but it was my choice that I was okay with making. I then realized that my manager was also on the call and listening to this partner say all this stuff about me. But he didn't stick up for me, and knowing well how much he put on my plate, seemed to have agreed with this guy who has no idea what's going on. I felt extremely backstabbed by this, but I decided, okay, fine, I won't work too much. So I went back down to 50 hours. Again, I'll take the extra time. As a result, he got antsy about some of the projects because they weren't done yet. I couldn't have gotten to them within the 50 hours I had each week, so they'd keep needing to get pushed out. This led to some of the projects not getting done by the tax deadline, so we had to extend, and he wasn't happy about it. He believes that they could have gotten done. And yeah, they could have. That extra 5 to 10 hours a week I was originally putting in would have allowed me to get them done. All my manager had to do was keep his mouth shut, or utter a thank you. I left that company at the end of July and left him with the rest of his projects that he dumped on me through that month. I wished him well, but I hope to never work under him again. The last story is called Should Be a Good Neighbor. My friends live in a house that is in front of a bus depot, entrance on one side, exit on the other. For years, with permission of the owner, they parked their cars beside the house, along a right part of the exit for the depot. It was convenient, and friendly relations meant my friends did not complain when diesel engines fired up in the early hours to warm up outside their bedroom windows. A couple of decades later, the business was taken over by a national chain, and with that came a number of changes. New tall fences that obstruct views, gates on the entrance and exit, more buses stored that require more maneuvering, and more young, underexperienced drivers. When moving buses, they regularly clipped their fence posts, moving them from the exit to the entrance of the depot. The road was narrow, with a big hedge on the other side. It was not a task to perform carelessly. After a couple of broken fences, eventually the wooden post was replaced with a sturdy reinforced concrete equivalent, and the driver stopped hitting it in a hurry. Another change that came down the pipe shortly after: the owners required my friends to stop parking on the depot grounds. They wanted the space for their own staff. After asking if there was other space that would be acceptable, they were told in no uncertain terms that the cars were not to be on the property at all, under any circumstances. Cue malicious compliance. And with it, the dawning realization for management that there was a reason the previous owner had been so accommodating. Because now they parked their cars outside the front of the house instead. As the law does not allow parking on the sidewalk, they must be parked on the road properly, so they absolutely block about half the narrow road. Consequently, the long buses could no longer pull out from the exit and turn across the house without hitting the cars. If they needed to go on a route in that direction or just pull a bus around to the entrance, they now have to turn the other way and drive a couple of miles around country lanes instead. The impact was felt immediately. The depot managers called the police to complain about the obstruction. The police not only confirmed that the cars are parked legally, but that they must not obstruct the sidewalk, so they could not be parked closer in. Management also petitioned the local council to have that part of the road designated for no parking, but that has been fought off successfully. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.